breaking format on world history discussions. This is on current events. Now, if you've been following this world history series, I just finished chapter 7 in the Traditions and Encounters world history textbook, all about the classical empires of Persia, from the Achaemenids, who rose in the 500s BCE, to the fall of the Sasanians in 651 CE. And that was a pretty amazing 1,000+ years of classical Persian history. But now, if you look at current events, isn't it ironic that I covered this and now it is official? The US and Israel have attacked Iran. Now, to be fair, I just thought of one irony. My very last part 10 of the chapter 7 discussions was all about how women were treated so well in classical Persia and how Zoroastrianism was very pro women leaders and all that. And of course, couldn't be farther from the truth now. Two things can be true. Since 1979, Iran has been under a very repressive regime. Also, it was awful that the protesters last month who were protesting the repressive government pretty much got slaughtered. All terrible, terrible stuff. But do I think that the United States and Israel need to be bombing Iran and starting a war with them? No. If you think the Iraq war was a total disaster back in 2003, which it was, this is going to be like 10 times that scale. You're talking about destabilizing a sovereign country. There's a picture of Iran. So anyway, this happened about 12 hours ago, and a lot still needs to be said. Here's an interesting map of airspace. Notice all the airplanes avoiding Iran now because of the attacks. Anyway, I'm going to troll Donald Trump a little bit because I want to play you a clip from his debate with Jeb Bush 10 years ago back in 2016. A lot of people voted from thinking that he was anti-war, and this might give you a reason why. And now he might be getting us into one of the most devastating and stupid wars ever. But I just want to show you what he was saying 10 years ago to Jeb Bush.
Obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake, all right? Now, you can take it any way you want, and it took Jeb Bush, if you remember at the beginning of his announcement, when he announced for president, took him 5 days. He went back. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. Took him 5 days before his people told him what to say. And he ultimately said it was a mistake. The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake. So George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
All right, says the same guy that now is starting a war with Iran. Talk about destabilizing the Middle East. Here's his comments last night.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world.
There you go. So Trump went from anti-war to big-time warmonger, starting a crazy war in Iran. And like I say, there is no question about it. Two things can be true at once. Yes, Iran has oppressed its people since 1979. Yes, it's a horrible place to be a woman. It's a horrible place to be pretty much anybody that disagrees with the government, the way they put down the protesters. I was for the protesters. You remember when I was doing my Mesopotamia video discussions way back in chapter 2 last month, and I was saying, I really hope these protesters win. Wouldn't it be beautiful to see the Iranian people overthrow their repressive government? But that's not what this is. I was never for a war with them. What the United States is doing, and Israel, it's just pure imperialism. When we get to the later parts of world history, like chapters 36, 37, probably in a couple of years from now, we talk about decolonization. We talk about the American CIA, all the stuff in South America and Africa and the Middle East. You're going to see U.S. imperialism come up all the time, something I'm strongly against. Anyway, this is awful what happened, and I'm here on record saying we shouldn't have done it. By the way, there's the part of Iran where like Persepolis and Pasargadae were. But anyway, there's Tehran against the